Welcome. Welcome to the May 12th, 2026, the poker lesson edition. So last night, Stephen Colbert, in one of his last shows he's going to be able to air, brought on the other late night hosts. A couple years ago, these hosts ran a podcast called Strike Force 5. So Jimmy Kimmel, Seth Meyers, John Oliver, Stephen Colbert, and Jimmy Fallon wanted to pay their staff and writers during the writer's strike. And so they did this podcast to help raise money for that. And it was really fun to listen to. If you have a chance to go back and listen, it's worth it. It was really good. So having them all together was fun. I highly recommend going and watching it. The 36-minute extended clip is on YouTube. You can find it, or you can go to my blog where I posted a link to it. To me, one of the funnier jokes about it actually came from Jimmy Kimmel, who asked, why aren't, he got saved at ABC because people were canceling their Disney subscriptions. And so Jimmy asked, well, why aren't people canceling their Paramount Plus subscriptions? And then he answered the question himself because, well, nobody has a Paramount Plus subscription. Changing topics completely here, the Wall Street Journal has this story, an exclusive story, that the UAE is launching attacks of its own onto Iran. And so this attack on Iran's Lebanon Island oil refinery was launched and completely done by UAE forces. Take that for what you will. Before the war started, I would not have thought that would be possible because I thought the UAE and Iran had much better ties than apparently they really do have. But yeah, that's where we are. I'm getting a kick out of the fact that 500,000 people who placed $100 pre-orders on Trump phone are now coming to realize that they're never going to get this phone. It's just not going to happen. And so good luck. It's yeah, it's a $50 million grift, and there are some very upset people now. And you know, at some point you have to think 500,000 Trump supporters, nobody who's not a Trump supporter bought this phone. At what point do those people begin to turn on their dear leader? Hmm. On Mother's Day, Donald Trump was bragging about his excellent poll numbers, and immediately the response was, what poll has he seen? Because there is no poll out there showing good Trump numbers. In fact, just this morning, CNN has come out with a poll that has Trump at a new record low of 30%. And that is we're now entering the George W. Bush at the end of his term and Richard Nixon level just before his resignation. That's 30% is, yeah. But it's not all good news from my side. Two things that are noteworthy that are not so good on my side is that, as you see by the graphic I've showing here, although the trust in Republicans to do well on these issues, the trust in Democrats is not that much higher. Healthcare is the one where we're almost 2-to-1 support more than Republicans, but the rest of them, there's an advantage, but not a huge advantage. Yeah. Um, Also noteworthy is that the generic ballot question, if the vote were held today, who would you vote for a member of Congress? The Democrats only lead 45-42 in this poll. That's not a huge lead. We have to win by way more than 40. We have to win by way more than 3 points to take the House and Senate. Um, and by the way, of course, we will win by way more than 3 points. This didn't measure enthusiasm to vote. It didn't measure anyhow. I'm not worried about us not taking back the House, but I'm just saying this isn't a completely rose-colored glasses awesome poll for Democrats, but definitely death knell sounds for the Trump presidency when it comes to Trump's approval. So Trump, not sure why I have the term CNN poll there, but anyhow, Trump is offering to do federal gas tax relief and taking off 16.4 cents. Number one is just stupid because this has been proven time and time again. Whenever there is a tax relief on gasoline, less than half of it goes to the consumer. So the gas stations, the oil companies absorb most of the relief before it even gets trickles to the consumer. There are much better ways you can do this. You could offer everybody who is very low income uh, a rebate check of some sort. There are other ways of giving people some relief. Doing a federal gas tax holiday is dumb, and it'll be interesting. They announced it yesterday, but Trump announces a lot of things that never come to pass. I will be interested to see if this actually happens. Now, the purpose of this podcast today is to discuss poker a bit. Now, I love poker. And it's worth noting that the power of a straight in five card stud is amazing. Only one in 255 hands will you get a straight. And so it is a very rare hand, and therefore you're going to bet high if you have a straight. In Texas Hold'em, which is the most popular game in America, it's still rare. It's between 1 in 20 and 1 in 25 chances of getting a straight. And of course, you're not going to bet quite as much. But the point is, what came out in the Iran memo back to President Trump that he called terrible, disgusting, a disaster, blah, 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 blah. He's right. What Iran is insisting on is incredible. They're asking basically to have control over the strait, that they cannot be attacked again, that Israel can't attack in Lebanon, that I mean it's a complete Iranian wish list, even before there's any discussion of what to do with nuclear stockpile or with the Iranian uranium. So of course the US can't accept that. And even Trump realizes that he couldn't sell that to his MAGA base as somehow being a win. But what Trump doesn't seem to understand is cards. I hope you've seen the picture that Trump actually posted of him playing Uno and holding, it was an AI image of him playing Uno and holding a bunch of cards. Trump didn't seem to understand that in the game of Uno, your goal is to get rid of the cards, not get the biggest hand possible. The guy really is dumb, and he certainly doesn't know how to play poker. The good news that's coming this week is that he is going to China, and China had Iran's foreign ministry fly over. Hopefully, there was some negotiation there, because it is the people who are getting hurt the worst right now are people who live where I live and the people in Asia. So it's in China's interest to try to broker some deal here, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do. On a side note, I was very excited this past weekend as I was cleaning and sorting stuff out. Very excited to find my Coca-Cola poker chips. So I really do love playing poker. Unfortunately, I couldn't find people in this country to play with me. So the number of times I played poker, I could probably count on the fingers of one hand. I couldn't find anybody to play. Anyhow, I do love poker and I miss it. And it's clear that the President of the United States claims to be a genius about everything, knows a bunch about poker. You'd think a guy who ran a casino, oh, that's right, he bankrupted those casinos. That's not a good sign of his ability to play poker. See you tomorrow.